The void is the cradle of creation and the womb of transformation. Only when we confront nothingness can we become everything. Lao Tzu's spiritual emptiness is not a failure, but a divine opportunity. It is the call to ascend the steps of our evolution, an invitation from the cosmos to transcend our current condition. Since time immemorial, sages have recognized the transformative power of emptiness. Taoism speaks of Wu Wei, the non-action that paradoxically moves mountains. Buddhism teaches about emptiness, the illusory nature of all phenomena. And in the West, Christian mystics like Master Eckhart spoke of the need to empty oneself to be filled by the divine. This emptiness we feel is not a mere absence, but the presence of infinite potential. It is the space where our true nature can finally emerge, free from the bonds of ego and worldly illusions. But why do so many fear this emptiness? Why do we run away from it through incessant distractions, frantic pursuits of pleasure, and unbridled accumulation of possessions? The answer is simple, yet profound. We fear confronting our true essence. Spiritual emptiness forces us to look inside, to face our shadows, fears, and limitations. He unmasks the lies we tell ourselves and reveals the nakedness of our souls. It's an unforgiving mirror that reflects not just who we are, but who we could be. And it is precisely at this point that the steps of evolution reveal themselves. Every void is an invitation to ascend. Every feeling of lack is a call to expand. Existence, in its infinite wisdom, uses discomfort as a catalyst for growth. But how to face these steps? How to embrace the void instead of running away from it? This is a central question that permeates the human journey, from the beginnings of our consciousness to the present day. To truly understand the nature of this void and the need to face the steps of evolution, we need to delve deeper into the waters of philosophy, psychology, and spirituality. Each of these disciplines offers a unique perspective on our condition, illuminating different aspects of our existential journey. In philosophy, we find an echo of this void in the reflections of various thinkers throughout history. Plato, in his allegory of the cave, presents us with the idea that we live trapped in an illusory reality, chained by ignorance of our true nature. The emptiness we feel can be interpreted as the intuition of this higher reality, the discomfort that arises when we glimpse the shadows on the wall and suspect that there is something beyond. Friedrich Nietzsche, in turn, spoke of the abyss of nothingness that opens up before us when we confront the death of God, not necessarily in the literal sense, but as the loss of the structures of meaning that once sustained our existence. This abyss, this existential void, is what drives us to create new values, to become beyond man. Jean-Paul Sartre, in his existentialist philosophy, argued that existence precedes essence. In other words, we are born as a blank canvas, a void that needs to be filled by our choices and actions. This radical freedom is both a burden and an opportunity. The void is a space where we can create ourselves. In psychology, Carl Jung talked about the process of individuation, the path by which we become who we truly are. This process often involves confronting what he called the shadow, the repressed and denied aspects of our personality. The emptiness we feel can be interpreted as the psyche's call to integrate these neglected parts of ourselves. Viktor Frankl, Holocaust survivor and founder of logotherapy, argued that the search for meaning is the primary motivating force in human life. Existential emptiness, according to him, arises when we lose this sense of purpose. But it is precisely in this void that lies the opportunity to discover a deeper and more authentic meaning for our lives. In spirituality, we find countless traditions that talk about the illusory nature of the ego and the need to transcend it to reach a higher reality. In Buddhism, for example, the concept of anatta or non-self postulates that there is no permanent unchanging self. The emptiness we feel can be interpreted as an intuition of this fundamental truth, the discomfort that arises when the ego begins to dissolve. In Christian mysticism, we find the idea of the dark night of the soul, a period of profound spiritual desolation that precedes a deeper union with the divine. St. John of the Cross described this state as a painful emptiness, but necessary for spiritual growth. In Sufism, a mystical branch of Islam, there is the concept of fana, which means annihilation. It is the process by which the individual ego dissolves into divine unity. The void, in this context, is the portal to a higher reality. But how do these philosophical, psychological, and spiritual ideas manifest themselves in our everyday lives? How do emptiness and the steps of evolution present themselves in the daily lives of ordinary human beings? Imagine a person who seemingly has it all: a successful job, a loving family, material comfort. Yet she feels inexplicably empty, as if something fundamental is missing. This is the existential void manifesting itself. The call to a more authentic and meaningful life. Or think of someone going through a midlife crisis. Suddenly, everything that seemed important, career, social status, material possessions, loses its meaning. This is the emptiness revealing itself, challenging the person to reevaluate their priorities and seek a deeper purpose. Also consider the young person who feels lost, not knowing what career to pursue or what direction to take in their life. This feeling of being adrift, without a clear north, is another manifestation of emptiness. It is the invitation to a journey of self-discovery, to find your true calling. In each of these cases, the void is not a problem to be solved, but a portal to be crossed. It is the first step on the ladder of personal evolution. But how to take that first step? How do you start climbing this metaphorical ladder? The first step is recognition. Recognize emptiness not as an enemy, but as a teacher. When we feel that inner restlessness, that feeling that something is missing, it is crucial not to run away, not to be distracted by empty entertainment, unrestrained consumption, or the search for immediate gratification. Instead, we must allow ourselves to fully feel that emptiness. Observe him curiously. What shape does it have? Where do you feel it in your body? What emotions does it evoke? This act of conscious observation is, in itself, an act of courage and the beginning of transformation. The second step is acceptance. Accept that emptiness is a natural and necessary part of the human experience. It is not a sign of failure or inadequacy. It is an invitation to growth. When we accept emptiness, we stop fighting it and start working with it. The third step is investigation. Here is where we begin to actively climb the ladder of evolution. We ask ourselves, what is this emptiness telling me? What aspects of my life are not aligned with my deepest values? What parts of myself have I been neglecting or repressing? This investigation can take many forms. It can be through meditation, where we learn to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment. It could be through therapy, where we explore our personal history and behavior patterns with the guidance of a professional. It can be through reflective writing, where we put our thoughts and feelings on paper, giving them shape and clarity. The fourth step is action. Based on the insights gained through investigation, we begin to make concrete changes in our lives. This may involve leaving an unfulfilling job, ending a toxic relationship, starting a spiritual practice, or simply changing the way we relate to ourselves and others. Each of these actions is a step on the ladder of evolution. Each step takes us closer to our true nature, our highest potential. But it's important to remember that this journey is not linear. It is not a smooth, continuous progression from one state to another. It's more like a spiral, where we revisit themes and challenges at increasingly deeper levels. For example, someone might face career-related emptiness and make a significant change by finding work that is more aligned with their values. But then you may be faced with a new void, this time related to relationships or spirituality. Each void overcome reveals a new level of challenge, a new invitation for growth. This is why spiritual traditions often talk about the hero's journey or the path of the warrior. It's not an easy journey. It requires courage, persistence, and a willingness to face the unknown. But the benefits of this journey are immeasurable. As we climb the ladder of evolution, we experience a growing sense of authenticity and inner alignment. We feel more alive, more connected to ourselves and the world around us. We develop greater resilience in the face of life's challenges. The emptiness that once terrified us now becomes an old friend. a welcome sign that we are ready for the next level of growth. Our relationships with others also change. As we become more authentic and integrated, our relationships become deeper and more meaningful. We develop a greater capacity for empathy and compassion, both for ourselves and for others. But how can we cultivate this attitude of openness and courage in the face of emptiness? How can we prepare to face the steps of evolution when they present themselves? A powerful practice is meditation. Meditation teaches us to be present with what is, without judgment or resistance. When we meditate regularly, we develop the ability to observe our thoughts and emotions without completely identifying with them. This creates an internal space, a fertile void where new possibilities can emerge. Start with short sessions, 5 to 10 minutes a day. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes and focus your attention on your breathing. When your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring your attention back to your breath. Over time, you can increase the length of your sessions and explore different meditation techniques. Another valuable practice is Socratic questioning. Socrates, the Greek philosopher, was famous for his method of asking questions to stimulate critical thinking and illuminate underlying truth. We can apply this method to ourselves by asking deep, challenging questions. What do I really value in life? What are my biggest fears and how do they limit me? If I knew I couldn't fail, what would I do? What parts of myself have I been neglecting or repressing? What is the greater purpose that gives meaning to my life? Take time regularly to reflect on these questions. Write your answers in a journal. Revisit them periodically and notice how your answers change as you evolve. Practicing gratitude can also be transformative. When we feel empty, it's easy to focus on what's missing in our lives. Gratitude reverses this tendency, helping us recognize and appreciate what we already have. Every night before bed, list 3 things you are grateful for. It can be big or small things. A beautiful sunset, an act of kindness from a stranger, a delicious meal. The important thing is to cultivate a state of appreciation. Selfless service is another powerful practice. Paradoxically, when we feel empty, giving to others can fill us. Find ways to serve your community. Volunteer at a shelter, donate blood, help an elderly neighbor. The act of giving connects us to something greater than ourselves, filling the void with meaning and purpose. Creative expression can also be a valuable tool for navigating the void and climbing the ladder of evolution. Whether through art, music, writing, or any other form of expression, creativity allows us to give tangible form to our internal experiences. Experiment with different forms of creative expression. Paint, write poetry, dance, sing. Don't worry about the result or being good at it. The important thing is the process, the authentic expression of your inner being. Contact with nature is another practice that can help us navigate the void and ascend the steps of evolution. In nature, we can experience a sense of connection with something greater than ourselves. The rhythm of the seasons, the vastness of the sky, the complexity of an ecosystem. All of these can help us put our worries into perspective and reconnect with our essence. Take regular walks in natural environments. Practice forest immersion, a Japanese technique that involves spending time in nature mindfully, using all your senses. Observe the play of light and shadow. Hear the sounds of birds and wind. Feel the texture of leaves and tree bark. The practice of forgiveness, both of yourself and others, is another important step on the ladder of evolution. Often, the emptiness we feel is fueled by unresolved hurts, resentments we carry, or guilt over past mistakes. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting or excusing harmful behaviors. It is an act of liberation, of releasing the emotional weight that keeps us stuck in the past. Start by identifying areas of your life where you are holding on to resentment or guilt. Write a letter, which you don't need to send, expressing your feelings and then consciously choosing to let them go. Another powerful practice is cultivating compassion. Compassion is the ability to recognize suffering in others and a desire to alleviate it. Paradoxically, by opening ourselves to the suffering of others, we often find relief from our own emptiness. One way to cultivate compassion is through the practice of loving kindness. Start by directing feelings of love and kindness toward yourself. Then, gradually expand that circle to include loved ones, acquaintances, strangers, and even people you struggle with. The practice of detachment is another crucial rung on the ladder of evolution. Many spiritual traditions emphasize the importance of letting go of limiting attachments, expectations, identities. The emptiness we feel often comes from holding on too tightly to things that are, by nature, impermanent. Start by noticing areas of your life where you are holding on. It could be to a relationship, to an idea about who you should be, to material possessions. Practice letting go gently, remembering that letting go is not indifference, but a form of love that allows things to be as they are. Studying sacred and philosophical texts can also be a valuable tool on our journey. These texts can offer profound insights into the nature of emptiness and the steps of evolution. They can provide us with a broader context for our personal experiences, helping us see our challenges as part of a universal human journey. Choose a text that resonates with you. It could be the Tao Te Ching, the Upanishads, Plato's Dialogues, or anything else that speaks to your soul. Read a short passage every day, reflecting on how it applies to your life. The practice of silence is another powerful step. In our noisy and busy society, silence has become a rare commodity. However, it is in silence that we often find the deepest answers. Try going on a silent retreat, even if it's just for a few hours. Turn off all electronic devices, avoid conversations, and simply be with yourself. Notice what arises in this space of stillness. Dream work can be another valuable tool. Our dreams often bring us messages from the unconscious, offering insights into our inner emptiness and the next steps in our evolution. Keep a dream journal. As soon as you wake up, write down everything you can remember from your dreams. Over time, you may begin to notice recurring patterns and themes, offering valuable clues about your growth path. The practice of full attention, mindfulness, in all activities of daily life is another important step. We often feel empty because we are disconnected from the present moment, always rushing to the next moment, the next task, the next goal. Practice being fully present in everything you do. When you eat with complete attention. Savor each bite, observe the textures and flavors. When you walk, feel each step, the movement of your muscles, the air on your skin. When talking to someone, truly listen without planning your next speech. Working with the body is also crucial in our journey of evolution. We often store unprocessed emotions and trauma in our bodies. Practices like yoga, tai chi, or mindful dance can help us release these blocks and reconnect with our bodily wisdom. Try different body practices and see what resonates with you. Pay attention to how your body feels before, during, and after these practices. Exploring altered states of consciousness in a safe and responsible way can offer profound insights into the nature of emptiness and the steps of evolution. This can be done through practices such as holotropic breathing, deep meditation, or in some cases, with the use of sacred plants under appropriate guidance. It is important to approach these practices with respect, adequate preparation, and ideally under the guidance of an experienced practitioner. Cultivating authentic relationships is another crucial step. Often, the emptiness we feel is related to a lack of genuine connection with others. Practicing vulnerability, deep listening, and authentic communication can help us create more meaningful and satisfying relationships. Challenge yourself to be more open and honest in your relationships. Share not only your joys and successes, but also your struggles and fears. Practice active listening, really listening to what the other person is saying without just waiting for your turn to speak. The practice of radical acceptance is another important step. Emptiness often arises because we are at war with reality, resisting what is. Radical acceptance does not mean passivity or resignation, but rather a deep recognition of the present reality as it is, before taking any action to change it. Practice saying yes to what is, even if it's uncomfortable. Notice how this acceptance changes your experience. Cultivating curiosity is another valuable step. When we feel empty, we often fall into rigid, repetitive thought patterns. Curiosity helps us break these patterns, opening us up to new possibilities. Practice approaching every experience, even familiar ones, with a beginner's mind. Ask yourself, what can I learn here? What am I overlooking? What new perspective can I take? The practice of patience is crucial in our journey through the steps of evolution. Personal growth doesn't happen overnight. It is a gradual process, often imperceptible on a daily basis. Patience allows us to trust the process, even when we don't see immediate results. Remember to celebrate small progress. Keep a growth journal, writing down insights, subtle changes in your behavior or perception. Over time, you'll see how these small steps add up to significant transformations. The cultivation of humility is another important step. Humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. It's recognizing that we are part of something bigger, that we don't have all the answers, and that we are always learning and growing. Practice recognizing and appreciating the wisdom and qualities of others. Be open to learning from all people and situations in your life. The practice of generosity is another powerful step. Giving not only connects us with others, but also expands our sense of self. When we give, whether it's our time, resources, or attention, we create a sense of abundance that can help fill the emptiness within. Find small ways to be generous every day. It can be as simple as a sincere smile, a genuine compliment, or helping someone with a task. Cultivating integrity is crucial in our journey of evolution. Integrity means living in accordance with our deepest values, being congruent in thoughts, words, and actions. When we live with integrity, we experience a sense of inner alignment that can help fill the void. Reflect on your core values. So, watch your daily actions. Where do you see discrepancies? What small changes can you make to live more in line with your values? The practice of observation without judgment is another important step. Often, the emptiness we feel is amplified by our judgments about ourselves and our experiences. Learning to observe without judging allows us to be more present and open to reality as it is. Practice observing your thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations without labeling them as good or bad. Simply notice them and let them pass by. Like clouds in the sky, cultivating resilience is crucial in our journey through the steps of evolution. Resilience is not just the ability to overcome adversity, but to grow through it. It's about seeing challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for learning and growth. Reflect on the challenges you have faced in the past. How did they transform it? What strengths have you developed through these experiences? Practicing self-compassion is another important step. Often, the emptiness we feel is fueled by relentless self-criticism. Self-compassion allows us to treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we offer a good friend. When you find yourself self-critical, pause and ask yourself, how would I talk to a dear friend in this situation? Then offer yourself the same words of comfort and encouragement. Cultivating gratitude is a powerful step on our journey of evolution. Gratitude helps us shift our focus from what we're missing to what we already have, filling the void with a sense of abundance and appreciation. In addition to listing things you're grateful for, try to actually feel the gratitude in your body. Let it fill your heart and spread throughout your being. Practicing forgiveness, both of yourself and others, is another crucial step. Forgiveness is not about forgetting or excusing harmful behaviors, but about releasing the emotional weight that keeps us stuck in the past. Reflect on situations in your life where you are holding on to resentment or guilt. Write a letter of forgiveness, which you don't need to send, expressing your feelings and then consciously choosing to release them. Cultivating wisdom is another important step on our journey. Wisdom goes beyond intellectual knowledge. It is the ability to apply what we know in a meaningful way to our lives. Reflect regularly on your experiences. What did you learn? How can you apply these lessons to your daily life? The practice of nonviolence, or ahimsa, is another crucial step. This includes not only avoiding physical violence, but also violence in thoughts and words, both directed toward others and toward ourselves. Observe your thoughts and words throughout the day. Where do you see subtle violence? How can you bring more kindness and compassion to these areas? Cultivating equanimity is another important step. Equanimity is the ability to maintain mental and emotional balance in the face of pleasant or unpleasant experiences. Practice observing your emotional reactions without completely identifying with them. See if you can maintain a sense of calm and balance, even in challenging situations. Practicing death awareness is another powerful, yet often overlooked step. Remembering our mortality can help us live with more purpose and appreciation. Reflect daily on the impermanent nature of life. How would you live if you knew this was your last day? What priorities would become clear? Cultivating discernment is another crucial step. Discernment is the ability to see clearly, to distinguish what is truly important and significant from what is trivial or illusory. Practice questioning your assumptions and beliefs. Examine them in the light of your direct experience. Be willing to let go of what no longer serves your growth. The practice of presence is another fundamental step. Often, the emptiness we feel arises because we are mentally absent from our own lives, always planning the future or ruminating on the past. Practice bringing your full attention to the present moment, no matter what you are doing. Feel life happening now, in this very moment. Cultivating openness is another important step. Being open means being receptive to new experiences, ideas, and perspectives, even when they challenge our existing beliefs. Practice saying yes to new experiences. Actively seek points of view different from your own. See every interaction as a learning opportunity. The practice of non-duality is an advanced step in our journey of evolution. It is a recognition that the divisions we perceive between self and other, mind and body, human and nature, are ultimately mental constructs. Meditate on the interconnectedness of all things. Notice how each experience arises in a consciousness that is vast and limitless. The cultivation of unconditional love is perhaps the highest step on our journey of evolution. It is the ability to love without conditions or expectations, to see the beauty and value inherent in all beings. Practice expanding your circle of compassion more and more until it includes all beings. See if you can offer love even to those you find difficult or unpleasant. As we climb these steps of evolution, we begin to realize that the void we once feared is not an abyss of hopelessness, but a womb of infinite possibilities. It is a space where our true nature can flourish, where we can become more than we ever thought possible. Remember, this journey is not linear. There is no end point, a state of enlightenment that we reach and then stop growing. It is a continuous spiral of expansion and deepening. Each time we face emptiness, each time we climb a new step, we open ourselves to deeper levels of understanding and experience. The emptiness we feel is not a mistake or a flaw in our design. It is a sacred invitation to growth, a call to become more than we are. It is a space where the miracle of transformation occurs. So the next time you feel empty, don't run away. Don't get distracted. Don't try to fill the void with external things. Instead, immerse yourself in it. Explore it. Let him be your teacher. For it is in the void that we find our fullness. It is in the darkness that our inner light shines brightest. It is on the steps of evolution that we discover who we really are and what we came to do in this world.